Okay, so if you watched the last video, you would have seen that I actually crashed when I was at Knock Hill. Doing my first track day on this bike, so basically it was just a low side into the hairpin, or coming out of the hairpin rather. So that we'll run through, I'm going to run through the damage that's on the bike, how much it's going to cost, or how much I plan on making it cost to fix it, and get it usable for the track. So first things on the front of the bike, we've got a tiny little scrape on the axle bolt, so I'm not going to do anything about that. There's no damage to the wheel, mudguard. This LED indicators obviously went walkabout. I think the full set indicators on the bike were £8, so it's not going to cost much to replace that. I might actually have a spare one lying about, but it'll be a slightly different style, so I'm not too worried about that, just because that's more for the road than the track. Now if I come up here, we've got the brake lever, so you can see the brake levers went all capped and hook. It is still usable because I usually brake 2 fingers anyway, but with this I'm going to try and heat it around here, and then bend it back so it's a bit straighter, and see how we get on with that. You can pick them up on eBay for £13, which isn't too bad, but I'm super tight anyway, so I'm going to try and bend it back to save buying another one. And some of the ones that people are actually selling on eBay, you can actually tell that they've already been, like, they've been crashed and then they've been bent back anyway. So I think if it was going to snap, it's going to snap from where it's been bent, which is about here, and seeing as I'm braking here, I don't imagine it's going to cause me major issues. It's not like I'm going to lose the whole lever, so don't think there's any damage on the tank. Now the crash bung, that definitely did its job. You can see it's worn down to like half the size it was. So I've got new ones on order from eBay. I think they were £16. Could have got them for around half that price on AliExpress, but I didn't want to wait a couple of weeks for delivery, so I didn't think £16 was too bad. And I think they're actually slightly bigger than what these ones were, which I think will be ideal for if I crash again. Then this is probably the worst damage on the bike, is all the damage to the fairing. So got this where it's worn right through and it's scraped the engine casing slightly. Don't know if you can probably see that a little bit. See it there. Scraped up there and then scraped at the back there. So that's, to try and repair that and get an OEM finish is going to be near on impossible. At least doing it on a budget anyway. So I think I'm just going to leave this as is for doing track days. I'll not be able to sell it like this, but I've got some ideas for what to do, and I'll come onto them later on in the video. So you can see the brake lever, you can see when you look at it from this angle, that's been bent up. So I'm hoping to do the same as with the front brake lever. I'm going to heat that and try and bend it back into place. It's still actually usable like that, it's just sticking up a bit high. So there's a chance my boot will maybe catch that accidentally, so I'll try and bend it down a bit. Then if we come to the back of the bike, there isn't any damage on the tail fairing, indicator's fine, all that's fine. The main thing is the exhaust. So the bracket itself's taken a bit of a dunt, and this is obviously worn through here, and it's burst in there as well. And then there's obviously the scrapes on the pipe, which none of them are actually through the steel. One thing, see, when I was actually getting on the bike after it, I could hear a grinding every time the suspension compressed, and it was actually this bolt in here was catching on the mudguard bolt, so this whole bracket's obviously bent in a bit. So I'm gonna, when I take all that off to fix it, I'm gonna try and bend out a bit and give it. I've already bent out a bit so it's not catching, but it probably needs moved out a bit more, and obviously there's damage from where it's hit the swing arm there. So for the exhaust, you can pick up like used ones, used Micron as well actually. You can pick them up used for between like £30 and £60 just for the slip-on. So my current thinking is I'm planning on taking the exhaust off, and it's down here. And this was only £2.65, so it's not going to look nice, although I might spray it. It's not going to look nice, but I'm going to wrap it with that just to try and seal it, and for if I do a couple more track days with it. The last thing I want to do is put a new exhaust on, crash it again, and have to replace the exhaust. So I just want to fix the bike up to the point of being able to ride it on track again, and for it to be safe. Safe obviously. When it comes to selling it, that's when I'll probably have to do a bit more to tidy it up a bit and make it look less like it's been down the road, or down the track rather. So back to the fairing. So obviously the fairings aren't made anymore. They're pretty expensive. Had a look on eBay. You can get ones for the left side at the moment. I think you get like a crash one for like £70-80, and a good condition one is more like what was it? I think it was nearly £300. So there's no right-sided ones at the moment, but I'm sure they'll pop up occasionally. Although this is quite a rare colour, because I think they only made it in this yellow with this sort of decal pattern for like 2 years or something. But what I was thinking, obviously I can wait until a right-sided one comes up, hopefully get it for a good price. I'll probably take this one off and sell it separately to recoup some of the costs. Or what I've been thinking is you can actually buy full fairing kits on like some of these sort of Chinese like race fairing websites, although they're UK based, but I think it's all the same sort of crap that they sell. And it comes with like the tailpiece, the side fairings on both sides, the nose cone, the mudguard, basically everything except the tank, which is fine because that's not damaged. So it's about £360 for them, and I'm thinking what I might do if I want to try and sell the bike later on and pass it off as being immaculate, because it is quite low mileage as well. It's like 14,000, and with just doing track miles, that is not going to go up that much. But yeah, I think £360 you can get the full fairing pack. I'm not sure what the quality is going to be like. It'll have all the decals already applied, so I can potentially get them, replace everything, make it all look like new, albeit slightly lower quality. And then I reckon if I sold all the panels I've got, even like the crashed ones, like the nose cone condition, that's kind of okay, and the mudguard, I reckon I could probably recoup close to that £360. I guess it just comes down to what quality those fairing kits are actually like. They say they're ABS plastic, but looking on forums and stuff, it looks like they're like obviously a lot thinner than OEM and quite flimsy, and there might be fitting issues, and the paint finish probably isn't going to be very great. The other thing is, if I don't end up doing that, what I could do or try and do is obviously I'll be able to get a rattle can that matches this paint colour, and I could try and take a lot of these stickers off and repaint. So spray all the scrape bits yellow, and then try and get these like decals for here and here, and kind of just, and I could fill this with, I could put like a fiberglass filler on this, so I could fill that, paint it, put the decals on. But I kind of think doing that, I'm probably going to be into like £60, £70, £80, especially for the decals, because they'll be expensive to get ones that match. £60, £70, £80, and I just feel like from painting experience in the past, while it'll look good enough, and it definitely be good enough for a track bike, it definitely won't look OEM. So if I did try and sell it, somebody would probably spot it straight away and be like, that, the colour's off slightly, or the finish is different, or or whatever. So yeah, kind of frustrating because during the first couple of sessions of the track day, I'd already made my mind up, like the bike was good, but there was so many people with like track bikes that were, you know, they had the spare wheels, the generators, the warmers, and all that. And I kind of decided after the track day, I'll just sell the bike, because at that point, in the condition it was in and the mileage, I definitely would have made a pretty decent profit. And then I could have just bought a dedicated track bike. And then later on, I just have to worry about how I'd get to the track with vans and whatever. But I think that's off the cards now. So hopefully squeeze in one more track day this year, although it would just be an evening one, because the full day ones were just too much hard work. And I'll stick to these tyres as well. They were actually, I guess, until I crashed, I was actually pretty impressed with them. But ideally I'd like to be running something like super coursers, but if I'm going to do that, then I need a spare set of wheels to put wet tyres on, which I've not been able to source yet. So yeah, so in terms of like total cost, you're probably looking at, from what I've priced up and what I'm planning on doing with just bending parts back and stuff, I think less than £20 to get it back on track. And that's on track as in the racetrack, not just on track, if you know what I mean. So that would be just the new bungs, this wrap on the exhaust just to seal it. And other than that, yeah, it's probably ready to go for another track day. So thanks for watching. If you want to see more stuff like this, just like and subscribe. I'm going to try and put out a bit more content, especially now we're coming into winter. I should have a bit more time on my hands. So yeah, watch this space. Cheers.